Hey guys, Scott from FrightProps here in first person, taking a quick look at our setup for the upcoming Chicago escape room show. I just want to take a minute. We built this little setup for our booth, and I wanted to take a second and show it off just to give people who can't make it to the show a quick idea of some of the escape room technology that we'll be showing off. So you can see that we sort of have three different sections here on the front. We have a bunch of escape room triggers, we have our controller, and then we have some effects that you can have go off. So let's go over to the left side here, and you can see a number of different triggers. We have a lot more than this, but these are a few of the more common ones. So we have our keypad here, enter the correct code, and it triggers an effect on the other side. We have our laser sensor, so this is actually the receiver here, and a small laser. When we hit the button, it'll turn the laser on and the sensor will detect it.
Laser sensor.
We have over here our proximity sensor. Here's one part of the sensor and here's the other. When we bring them together, they'll trigger.
Proximity sensor.
Here we have some key switches. So these are basically just switches that come with a key. So when you find the key, you can insert it and turn it.
Key switch.
And then we have our controller. So this is our controller, the BooBox Flex Max. It's a great controller for escape rooms because it has 8 trigger inputs. So you could potentially have up to, let's say, like 8 different key switches, all of which have to be turned in the correct order in order for the Flex Max to trigger an effect on this side, which could be like an opening door. We'll get to that in a sec. It also has up to 16 different outputs. It can do DMX, so it's a really robust, awesome controller. On the effects side, we just have sort of an illustration of some of the basic types of effects that you can use the controller to activate. So we have a light here.
Proximity sensor.
We also have a door latch.
Proximity sensor.
And we have a simple pneumatic setup.
Proximity sensor.
So that's just a quick overview of the front of the case, just demoing some different technology. But what we are really excited about is what's up here on the top. Here up top, we've actually created a little bit of an escape room game. You can see we have 3 steps, and step 1 is to correctly place the skulls. I've got 3 skulls here, and the idea is to figure out what order they go in. So if I take, this is actually skull number 2, we know this, but if I take skull number 2 and put it in the 3rd spot, nothing happens. 1st spot, nothing happens. If you find the correct skull and put it in the correct spot, it'll let you know.
You found skull number 1.
Alright, now we can place the 2nd skull.
You found skull number 2.
And the 3rd.
You found skull number 3.
Then we go to step 2.
Please scan finger now.
Okay, scan my fingerprint.
Congratulations, you have survived to live another day.
And we get a little reward. FrightProps screwdriver. Awesome. So basically how this works is that we have 3 different types of sensors in each of the skulls. The first one, it's actually embedded in the skull. It's a proximity sensor, just like the one you see down here. So when you place the 2 close to each other, it'll trigger for skull number 1. Skull number 2 is a little different. It's actually a metal sensing trigger. So there's a small metal plate here on the bottom. So only a metal object touching the other sensor, which is embedded here, will trigger for skull number 2. The 3rd one is an RFID sensor. So basically there's a radio frequency chip here, and there's a sensor behind the unit. Only this uniquely ID'd radio frequency chip will activate on this spot. So these are really cool triggers for escape rooms, because the only thing that will ever trigger this is if you put this exact chip near the sensor. For our fingerprint scanner, we actually are doing a little bit of trickery. There's actually a capacitive sensor behind this piece of wood. And that means that any time you touch this, it will actually trigger. So we've set it up to say scan finger now, and whenever you touch it, it could be with any part of your body, it doesn't have to be your finger, it'll actually go green and open the lock. So using this type of technology, you could actually create a wall where people have to touch certain spots in order to unlock a door or other object. And then at the end, of course, we just have a standard magnetic lock with a plate holding our little treasure case closed. So that's just a quick look at our convention display for this upcoming show. Thought I'd share it with you guys. If you have any questions, of course, you can leave a comment on this video or send us an email at sales@frightprops.com. Thanks, and maybe we'll see you at the show.